the idea that the more you have contact with diversity, the harder it becomes to believe that your particular your particular church has a monopoly on the truth. That's a deep and important insight. And it's connected, it's connected to sort of the immediate pluralism of people having friends and neighbors of different religious persuasions, but it's also just connected to communications technology, television, the internet, globalization, and so on. The fact that we have semi-immediate access to, life in Southeast Asia, life in Africa, life in Russia, and so on, that all these aspects of sort of the global human family are available to us virtually at any time, I think just makes it very hard to sit down and think, okay, but my First Presbyterian church that my parents took me to, on the town green is the one true church, right? That just becomes a lot harder. And you see this in endless versions of public opinion data, but they had the famous Middletown study, which Muncie, Indiana, I think, where they went and sort of looked at what was supposedly a representative American community. And I think there was a version in the 30s or 40s and a version in the 70s or 80s, and the question was, do you think Christianity is the one true religion and everyone should be converted to it? And there weren't big differences in terms of religious practice between those two eras, but there were huge differences between the first question and between the first era and the second. Over that 40-year period, this sort of middle American community just became less likely to say, yes, Christianity is the one true faith and everyone should be converted to it. And that has big implications, right? And it's why there's the sort of the big trend, at least as I see it, in American religion over the last 50 or 60 years, has not been towards unbelief, sort of deep skepticism, not towards Richard Dawkins style, slam the book down, that's it for God, but it has been towards a sort of relativistic view of faith that is also then, of necessity, a kind of partially deinstitutionalized form of faith. Because no matter what, if you don't have that assumption that your institution is the institution, your bond to it is going to be weaker. And then beyond that, it ends up seeming to many people, we are a consumer society after all, that it's not just that you should, church shop, it's that you can create your own religion, right? You can take a little bit of Buddhism, a pinch of Hinduism, some of your Christian background, and some Zen aphorisms and so on, and you can do yoga and recite the Serenity Prayer and so on, and you will have your own religion that works for you. This is why I tend to think Eat, Pray, Love, Elizabeth Gilbert's best-selling book, is sort of an incredibly representative religious text for our age. It's a very sincere portrait of an intense religious quest that does not end with conversion. It doesn't end with her saying, well, I found God in India, therefore I should become a Hindu. Or I found God in India, but this has confirmed me in my childhood Christian faith. It just ends in a sort of open-ended way where she's had encounters with the divine and that shapes her life, but she's not submitting to any pre-existing tradition. And so I think that's one of the big, when we can talk about it as secularization, we can talk about it as pluralism, but that sort of individualism, deinstitutionalization, and so on is a big and inevitable part of this story, at least for now.